All right, everybody hear me okay? Okay. All right, we'll get started. Awesome win, man. Road victories are the sweetest of them all. And championship games maybe a little better than next road victories. And you know it's going to be a battle. It was obviously, they do a great job here at home. I've always been a tough team to play here. You get their quarterback and what appears to be their leader, returning all the emotions in the stadium. And I give our team a lot of credit. That winning here is always tough, and we've obviously seen how tough this is last couple of times we played them. So huge road victory. All sides took part in it. Again, very impressed with Gabe Burkich again, just so clutch for us. Thought he was fantastic on the day. Guys offensively played well, especially keeping their patience in the first half when we had another. Didn't think there's any way we could get less possessions, and then we had 3, I think, the first half. So, and we just guys stayed with it, did a nice job. Defensively, we had some big plays. Obviously, the fumble recovery by Benito on the force by Grimes, it was the longest in school history. Had some key stops, but we certainly know we've got to be better there. We didn't tackle very well in the open field. Made way too many very simple mental mistakes that honestly, frankly, we haven't been having. And so got to play more complete there. But again, I give this team credit. You got to find ways to win. We've won in several different ways now early in the season, and I think that bodes well because this team has some fight, some grit about them, and we'll continue to improve. But a huge momentum builder for us, and we're always thrilled to get out of Manhattan with a win.
Ryan Neighbor.
Yeah, Lincoln, wanted to ask you about Spencer Rattler's performance. What stood out to you about that? How much better do you think he was equipped to handle this atmosphere than a year ago? And what does this mean for him moving forward here to, put together a 22 or 25 type of performance today?
Yeah, he was awesome. We played really well. And yeah, I mean, I think the kid's got the mental makeup to be a really good road quarterback. I don't think it. I think he embraces it. Has a real competitiveness about him, and had a really good week. Felt like it was really locked in, and I thought he stayed patient. Again, the way the first half played out. It'd been easy to say, "Oh, shoot, here we go again, only getting this many plays or only getting this many drives or whatever," and he just kind of stayed and played and just executed plays as long as it went. So. He was good. We did some really good things up front. Skill guys were good. Obviously played better there. And obviously we needed to, our team needed us to.
Appreciate it, Lincoln.
You're Neiman.
I think you're muted, Garen.
That was bound to happen. Sorry about that. I wanted to ask about Spencer as well. A lot of talk about him, obviously, the last couple of weeks. You just went over what he did well. Could you specify what, I don't know, I mean, you're going to downplay this probably, but what did you do to help him get ready to respond like he did today? How did you have a hand in this?
Honestly, he played about like he did the second half of Nebraska and the second half of West Virginia. He just he put it all together. We got a few more opportunities. So I think it was just for him, I mean, he's played at this level certainly during some good, strong stretches during the season. I think it was the most complete game. He did a better job of starting fast and then just really maintaining it the whole way through, and thought mentally was just into it the whole way. So, yeah, he did a nice job. He played well. As far as my role in it, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's, you tell him whatever you want. Guys have got to go respond, and I thought he responded well. Did a really nice job. So proud of him, and on to the next one.
Hey, John Huber.
Hey, Lincoln, I wanted to ask about the onside kick that was double kicked. I wanted to get about your impression of the challenge. Your communication process? Did you hear from upstairs? Did you just have an intuition? Did you see it on the big board? And then how that eventually impacted the game?
Yeah, a couple coaches on the sideline thought they saw the ball redirect, and then, they challenged it initially, or they stopped it up top initially to see if he touched it before 10 yards. It was really close. So while that review was happening, we were able to get some more looks, and we felt absolutely certain. And I almost didn't challenge it because rarely do you see a review, they stay with the call and then come back and challenge and then they flip it. And so, but we were so sure. And then when I talked to the official after, I could tell they told me that they did not review. They were all they were looking at was, did it go 10 or not? They weren't looking at, was it double hit? And so that at that point, we were confident enough up top, and really good job by our coaches up top of communicating and seeing it. And we were confident enough that we felt like it was worth a challenge. And I'll tell you what, I give the officials and the replay crew a lot of credit, because they could have very easily saved face after already reviewing it once and just stayed with the call on the field. But it was clearly the right call. And it was, that kind of went through my head, like, all right, even if it's right, are they going to change it? Because it almost shows that they didn't see it the first time. And give them a lot of credit. I thought it was very professionally handled, and it was clearly the right call.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Terry Mardon.
Lincoln, I was wondering if you could just talk about, we've watched your offense last couple of years, and the criticism always been that you can't maintain it throughout a game. But today you score on your first 5 drives, particularly those first 3 with a minute and a half, remaining in the first half. I'm curious, how is this a jump overall, not just for Spencer, but maybe for the offensive line, the running game, all of that stuff? And the consistency.
The criticism through the years is we haven't been able to maintain. We've had maybe the greatest offensive run in college football history in the last few years. So I would differ there. And then
I meant last year and this year.
No, I mean, I agree. We have not played perfect all the times, but we've been pretty damn good. This was, for this group this year, not comparing to any other group in a year, this was the best, most complete game that we've played. We feel like we can play a whole lot better. But I thought we got some run game established. I thought that we just got in a little bit more of a rhythm. And again, I felt like we would handle it well, but after we've had the games we've had where it's been so low possession after that first half, and even throughout that first half, like, how mentally were we going to handle that? It's like, man, you don't think you get anything less than 4 possessions in a game and a half, and all of a sudden we have 3, you know what I mean? And so I thought it showed some real mental toughness on our offensive guys' part. And we played complete ball against a good group. I mean, they had been missing a few guys, got them back, and it was a good, challenging group. It was a great atmosphere. And I understand what you're saying. I think our guys were better and more complete here through this game.
Well, maybe I didn't phrase that right. You mentioned it. I mean, your error for margin was so small today. And you've had games in the past where your defense has turned it over to your offense. They haven't done anything with it. But today, maybe more so than any time last year, was this kind of the best that you've seen this offense with Spencer at the helm kind of manage that margin of error?
They're all different. They're all different. I mean, we had plenty of games, especially in the back half of last year, where we separated pretty good. We've just had some of these low possession games, and there's been a lot of long drives, kind of for both sides early in the year. So, I mean, it does make you appreciate the possessions. Not that they're not always important, but sometimes you get some of these games where both teams are going fast or hitting some big plays, and there's so many possessions, that it changes so much that you usually value them, but it's just different in these, because you kind of go take the field every time knowing, like, this one's pretty big. We may not have many more. We got to make the most of it. And we did do a better job of that today. Yes.
I appreciate it, Lincoln.
Jesse Crittenden.
Hey, Lincoln, I wanted to ask about the start to the second half. You guys were able to come out and score on that first possession, then your defense got a 3 and out. I mean, did it feel like you guys really found a momentum, after those first couple of possessions in the second half?
Definitely. And I knew that was going to be important. Just you take us 2 years ago to this game, we played a pretty decent first half. I think maybe went in with the lead, or it was really close. And then we had an awful third quarter here in 19. And so we really challenged the guys. We knew we needed to come out and establish some momentum. We felt like we were close to doing that. Offensively, we'd been playing well, knew we could get some momentum, and being able to back that up with the stop and a couple of scores there were obviously huge.
Thanks, Lincoln.
You're welcome.
Kenny Carlson.
Hey, Lincoln, I wanted to ask you a little bit about play calling on the offensive side. You guys were zone runs and then getting some play action, bootlegs, and different things like that. It felt like the rhythm of the offense really kind of started to, you mentioned rhythm earlier, but it seemed like that maybe was part of the equation there. What was the thinking in terms of just maybe more of that, and how do you think it impacted things?
Oh, I think the biggest difference was we were able to establish some run game early. And, when you do that, then, your play actions and all those things, are certainly better. And so, give credit to our line and backs. Thought we were pretty efficient in the run game. We had a couple too many negatives there on in the second half, but we did some really nice things in the run game. And that helps open up a lot. And then, we protected Spencer pretty well. They did a couple things different defensively. I thought our guys recognized it. I think it goes down to execution. I mean, we tried to run it some last week too, and didn't have as much success. And it's, calling plays as you got forward momentum, or you're getting in second shorts, or you're moving the chains. You're going to feel the rhythm more just because they're more successful. And so I think the big thing is I don't think there was anything magic about the schemes. I just think we executed more clearly. I think we were a little more focused, had less breakdowns, and because of that, we're able to maintain some momentum.
Do you feel like Spencer he looks very comfortable when he's on the move, and he seemed to maybe tuck it to some, and then, that we maybe hadn't seen him do quite so much this year. It looks like he's totally at ease with those sorts of things.
Yeah, he is. He's always had a good feel outside the pocket. He's got the athleticism to get down the field some and make some things happen, but also, he's got such a feel, obviously like to play to Mike Woods, that I think he easily could have taken off. And I think had Mike not separated there in the back end zone, he would have. But that threat of being able to do both, seeing both, and having some patience when things break.
The penalties that you said you guys had too many of them on the offense. But what is it, the balance that you have? You've had offensive linemen like Orlando Brown that have been guys that have, been the guys that got personal fouls, and you kind of let it go because you knew that kind of put them in the mindset of being physical during the game. How does that balance as far as letting your offensive linemen get physical, kind of, get penalties here or there and not try to rein them back, as opposed to getting on them? And then on that last drive in the first half where you kicked the field goal, did you all think about maybe taking a shot there? And what is your mindset thinking? And, with 6 seconds left on the 10-yard line, do we take a shot there, or and maybe have a couple seconds left, or did you just automatically go, we're just going to take this field goal and we're going to take the ball to start the second half and take from there?
Yeah. On the O-line penalties, I mean, I would say even with Orlando, we never let him go. Between Bob and myself, we chewed a lot of his tail. But you did always appreciate the physicality that he played with, and there was an edge. And occasionally there's going to be an aggressive penalty that you can live with. So the ones you can't have are the false starts, all right, and the dead ball penalties. You just can't have them. They'll just kill you in football. I mean, and we obviously had several today that are just totally unacceptable. And it's something we've prided ourselves on, and we've really done a pretty good job of up to this point this year, being a smart football team and not having a lot of those. And honestly, several of those today, were huge plays. We got to be better. And now our offensive line physicality, absolutely. We want to establish ourselves. That's what the O-line at Oklahoma is known for. And but you can do that, all right, without not jumping off sides and not having penalties after the play. There's going to be an aggressive hold every now and then. There's going to be some of those things. And we don't want a bunch of them, but if we're knocking people off the ball and playing really physical, you can understand those. The other ones that we can control, we have to be better. And then at the end of half, that was close. I mean, if we'd had the timeout, possibly. There's just with 6 seconds, we did consider it. Part of it, I think, is the confidence in Gabe. Part of it, knowing we were going to get the ball to start the second half. And then, the other thing with 6 seconds left, occasionally can be, they kind of know you're probably going to throw it too. A lot of times you get more conservative coverage, and you end up on a scramble, anything like that, man, the half's over. So we just felt like it was a little too narrow to take a shot.
Thanks, Lincoln.
Hey, Lincoln, could you talk, this was a crazy game, and you talked about it all the time. You got to play every play. Could you talk about how crazy college football can be? I mean, 2 or 3 times it looks like you have this game won away, yet something happens and you got to come up with another big play. I mean, in college football today, you can never relax.
Yeah, no, I think the two biggest plays in the game, I mean, we get up, multiple scores, and then we just immediately give up two huge plays. We give up the long
Right.
throw, I think after going up maybe 17 the first time, then we go up again and we get the penalty after the touchdown. We got to kick it from backed up, and that's a tough position against a good kickoff return team. I mean, what do? If you squib it or you pooch it, you're basically just giving them the ball at midfield. Obviously if you kick it deep, you give a good kickoff return team more air. And I felt like that we would cover it better. We had a couple guys get washed down and I think fall down. I think we were in the right spot. But obviously, when you have that momentum and you get that separation, that's when you got to be at your best. Play of the day following in that touchdown, which was the penalty, our most poor special teams play, which was the kickoff return for a touchdown, and probably our most poor defensive play of the day, giving up the huge bomb. I think it was either first or second down. It was early in the drive. So, I mean, we got to be at our best when we fight like crazy and you get that momentum. If you don't, then good teams, you give them opportunities.
Thanks, Lincoln.
You're welcome.
Okay, we've run out of time. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, everybody.